Good night, and welcome to another episode of Water for the Thirsty, the word simply refreshing. I'm your facilitator, Jared. With me tonight is Kenrick, and I think we'll also have the Bishop in a little bit. The others are under the weather and out of the country doing all kinds of fun stuff, so it's just the two of us today for now. We're going to chop it
Good to
up
see
and
you, brother.
same. It's good to see you, and it was great to spend time to knock it in the same place. Yeah,
Yeah. Now it's been a long time.
yeah. To break some
So
chocolate together is always a good thing.
always. Next time we'll do it on the couch.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
we're not gonna do it on the couch. We'll sit on the
Yes,
couch and
we'll
yeah, yeah,
yeah
yeah.
we'll be together on the couch. That didn't even sound right either. All right. Since the last time we got together, we've been in Matthew. We crossed from Numbers into Deuteronomy. Moses is saying his goodbyes. He's giving his last spiel before God, takes him. And then we had, the sons of Korah and David and all those guys who write songs in the Psalms. So I have, well, yeah, we finished out Romans since the last time we came as well. So Romans into Matthew. Um, all that good stuff with Paul. So my because you read this stuff a lot all the time, you see a lot of the same things, and if you read in the same Bible, you get highlights in the same places, so
hmm
same kinds of things tend to stand out to you. But this week, I didn't actually read Psalms in my paper Bible. I read it on my phone Bible, and I was
hmm
reading it in the NIRV because that's the version, my paper Bible version. So I'm trying to be consistent there. And I saw something in Psalm 44 that made me go, what is that? That don't make no sense. I think I might be
Psalm
sensitive to
44.
it and I'll be transparent because you know how you in relationships with people remember the same situations differently and they
hmm
describe it other than how you remember the situation going.
Yeah.
They almost try to say they are the victims. I guess because I was
hmm
sensitive to that, that's what I saw in this, right?
Okay.
And I ended up spending almost an hour with Chat GPT trying to understand what was happening here, right?
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and read. It's a
It's
long
the whole
thing.
the whole joint, or
Yeah, let's read the whole thing so we can read it in context, right? So, we're not just cherry picking. We can
okay.
kind of
Yeah,
see
yeah. No, I
how the
got you.
whole thing fit. I know you may not have had a chance to read it, so I want us to do it together so we can do that. But it's Psalm 44. Uh, my question might, well, you'll see if you see what I see as we read this together. So I'm gonna read
You're
it.
in NI. You're in NIRV.
Yeah, that's the children's reading Bible. So this
Yeah.
Bible is like a third, fourth grade level reading of the
Okay.
Bible. So
The Trump
this is
Bible.
one that when I bought the children's Bible for the kids, this was the version that was in it.
Got you.
So I've been reading in that version just to see what the basic level understanding is. All right, so it's Psalm 44 for the director of music. All of this is relevant for me because it's a song, right? So that's the first thing. So
Mhm.
songs for the director of music, a maskil of the sons of Korah. And now that I'm thinking about it out loud, this whole for the director of music might be a frame for interpretation. I think Chat and I kind of landed there when we processed it, um, but yeah, I'll just make that note here for
Okay.
that. Oh, look who! Surprise, surprise!
Oh
Didn't
wow.
expect to see you today,
Oh wow.
but
Cover up.
welcome. Maybe you can help me
Man,
with this thing I'm about to
it's only
wrestle
eight.
here.
It's only 8 o'clock.
Yeah, it's only 8 o'clock. That's probably why he here. he, he's just putting his pajamas. He get a little runaway before he can kind of run upstairs. But while he's figuring out his microphone, we read in Psalm 44. I want you to help me answer this question before you dive out, right? So, God, we have heard what you did. Those who came before us have told us what you did in their days, but in days long ago. By your power, you drove out the nations. You gave our people homes in the land. You crushed the people who were there, and you made our people do well. They didn't win the land with their swords. They didn't gain success by their own power. Your powerful right hand and your mighty arm gave them victory. You gave them success because you love them. You are my king and my God. You give victories to the people of Jacob. With your help, we push back our enemies. By your power, we walk all over them. I put no trust in my bow. My sword doesn't bring me victory, but you give us victory over our enemies. You put them to shame. All day long, we talk about how great God is. We praise your name forever. But now you have turned your back on us. You've made us humble. You don't march out with our armies anymore. You made us turn and run from our enemies. They have taken what belongs to us. You've handed us over to be eaten up like sheep. You have scattered us among the nations. You sold our people for very little. You didn't gain anything when you sold them. You've made us something that our neighbors laugh at. Those who live around us make fun of us and tease us. The nations make jokes about us. They shake their heads at us. All day long, I live with my shame. My face is covered with it. That's because they laugh at me and attack me with their swords. They want to get even with me. And this is the part I struggled with mightily. All of this happened to us, even though we had not forgotten you. We had not broken the covenant you made with us. Our hearts had not turned away from you. Our feet had not wandered from your path. But you crushed us and left us to the wild dogs. You covered us over with deep darkness. We didn't forget our God. We didn't spread our hands in prayer to a false God. If we had, God would have discovered it. He knows the secrets of our hearts. But because of you, we face death all day long. We are considered sheep to be killed. Lord, wake up. Why are you sleeping? Get up. Don't say no to us forever. Why do you turn your face away from us? Why do you forget our pain and our troubles? We are brought down to the dust. Our bodies lie flat in the ground. Rise up and help us. Save us because of your faithful love. My struggle was, when in Israel's history were they scattered by the nations, scattered to the nations, and treated this way, not due to their...
Not doing something. Yeah.
When was this true of them? Can anybody point to that? And I asked ChatGPT, help me find a story,
I can't think of
an instance in the history where this is true. Because this feels like revisionist history.
I can't think of anything. It reminded me of Job when I was reading it, as you were reading it.
Right.
Simply, from the perspective of maybe they didn't do anything.
Well, that's not right. Because, and here's why. Now let's go to Deuteronomy 4:7. No, we can't hear you. You can see your lips moving, but we can't hear you. Not sure why, but let's first go to Deuteronomy.
Before you move,
go ahead.
Before you move forward on that, right? I got interested in it because when you said Psalm 44, and you started reading from the children's version, which is more a wise version. I'm not going to cuss. I'm just going to say crap happens. Right? Crap happens. And it's amazing when you look at the text that says, and trust me, I'm just as confused as you are, right? But the sun rises on the wicked, right? And it also rises on the righteous. Okay. And sometimes I can't understand how you have not turned your back on God. But this person that's writing is saying, but you played me. You played us. And it's a scary thought. I mean, even in my own life, I think of some things that I'm like, but wasn't I faithful, God? And you still allowed this to happen. And I got some things that I'm thinking of, but I don't want to push forward into that. But I'm just as confused as you are, but I'm trying to see the bright side of this. I am.
But I guess that's where I'm.
Go ahead.
Go.
Y'all got me out of my bed.
My confusion isn't that happens to people, because we have clearly the example of Job, right? Where things happen to people. Oh, we could even say Joseph. He may have contributed indirectly, but his brothers were not fair to him. Neither was Potiphar's wife, right?
Right.
So
Right.
bad things has happened to people who not deserving of bad things to happen. That is true. So for me, it's not an application issue. This is a historical record issue. When is it true for this group of people? Who from this group of people could say this truthfully, meaningfully, without revising the history? Because they didn't just say bad things happened. They said you scattered us to the nations. Deuteronomy 4, which we're about to go to, says that scattering is going to be a result of the group being unfaithful, right? You also have Daniel and Nehemiah who take this posture, but they personally may not have contributed to the sin, but they have a collectivist prayer to God where we have sinned, we have fallen short, because we as a group, the people among us, I would even say Jeremiah would be able to kind of say something like this when Babylon falls, but only if he's talking about himself and maybe his family.
Not the rest of the people.
Right? He couldn't say that's true of us because we, the people, sinned, and that's how the scripture is cataloged it. I am sure there were innocent people in the congregation of the nation who didn't do what everybody else was doing. I'm sure it's true for them.
Correct.
But what is happening to them is not because of their faithfulness or unfaithfulness, but the unfaithfulness of those people around them. So are these that subset of people praying here, saying we didn't do it, it was them, and you treating us bad?
So is there a direct correlation between?
For me, but go ahead.
Is there a direct correlation between 44 and Deuteronomy 4? Is this same time?
Just the language. So let's go to Deuteronomy 4:27. Let's go to Deuteronomy 4, because what's happening in Deuteronomy is Moses is telling the people, hey, I'm about to leave, be guided accordingly, right?
Deuteronomy 4?
Yeah. We could go from verse 23. He says, be careful. Don't forget the covenant the Lord your God made with you. Don't make for yourselves a statue of any god at all. He has told you not to, so don't do it. The Lord your God is like a fire that burns everything up. He wants you to worship only him. So don't make a statue of a god. Don't commit that horrible sin. Don't do it even after you've had children and grandchildren. Don't do it after you've lived in the land a long time. If you do, it will be an evil thing in the sight of the Lord your God. You will make him angry. Today, I'm calling the heavens and earth to be witnesses against you. Suppose you do those things, then you will quickly die in the land you are going across the river to take over. You certainly won't live there any long. You will certainly be destroyed. The Lord will drive you out of the land. He will scatter you among the nations. That language there, and maybe
that language is if you don't, then this will.
So that scattering is a result, is a promise to this type of action.
Right.
So
but in Psalm 44,
you scattered us, but we didn't. How? How, Sway?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, that's a tough statement you make, because it doesn't make atheists out of people. It makes people feel as if, well, then why try? Then why do? Because let me tell you something, man. I was preaching at church the other day, and I made a comment. It disturbed some people, but I want you to think about this. And it's the very fact that a lot of us are good Christians. Christians, because of what you're going to get after.
Yes,
right.
You're working for the promise.
You're working for you're working for the reward, right? You're being a Christian for the reward. And if I'm a Christian and I'm not going to get a reward, I might as well live the way I want to live, because look what this guy is saying. This guy is saying, man, we've been doing what we're supposed to do. We've been going to church. We've been going to prayer meeting. We've been doing so and so, whatever. You scattered us.
Yeah, but I'm saying that guy is right. I say that guy has a cognitive distortion, and he is lacking accountability. And he's
saying the writer did something.
Doing revisionist history. He's shifting blame.
Jared.
Jared's coming from the
Yeah, it had to
perspective of
be
like
because when in the
we
history
saw
could
the
this
same
be
thing and didn't
true?
experience the same thing.
People just do that all the time. They just say, "Well, it wasn't my fault. I didn't do nothing." So, so for me, it's either because I cannot point to that moment in history or this group of people. Either this guy is saying it was them, it wasn't us, right? Which means you're now dividing yourself from the rest of the sinful people in the thing.
Okay.
Or he confused about why they were scattered in the first place, and saying his hands are clean when they aren't.
Unless it was the generation before what they're paying for.
Yeah, but even that, you still acknowledge what it can't say, well, we didn't, so that's why this is happening. You can acknowledge the reason why we here is that happened. We still here, we're not doing it anymore. Please fix it.
I'm not gonna be able to sleep. I'm not gonna be able to sleep.
You can't say we didn't at all. That don't make any, to me, that didn't make any sense, and that blew my mind. So let's go quickly to Nehemiah chapter 1. And this is why this is the Nehemiah and his prayer is why this is a struggle. Is one of the reasons why this is a struggle for me, right? So let's go to Nehemiah chapter 1. All right. So I'm gonna start from verse 4. Nehemiah 1 verse 4. He said, "When I heard about these things, I sat down and wept. For several days I was sad. I didn't eat any food. And I prayed to the God of heaven. I said, Lord, you are the God of heaven. You are a great and wonderful God. You keep the covenant you made with those you love and obey your commandments. You show them your love." So here we have him affirming that God keeps his covenant. This other group is saying, God, you're not keeping your covenant, right? That's what this other group is saying. You're not keeping your covenant. "Please pay careful attention to my prayer. See how your people are suffering. Please listen to me. I am praying to you night and day. I am praying for the people of Israel." He has a whole different posture, right? He's counting himself among the people, even among the people who are sinful, right? Because he goes on to say, "We Israelites have committed sins against you. All of us admit it. I and my family have also sinned against you. We have done some very evil things. We haven't obeyed the commands, rules, laws you gave your servant Moses. Remember what you," and this is the verse that makes it problematic for me, verse Psalm 44. "Remember what you told him. You said, if your people are not faithful, I will do what? Scatter you amongst the nations." There's that phrase again. That scattering is a promise for unfaithful people. "But if you return to me, I will bring you back. If you obey my commands, I will gather you again. I will bring you back from the farthest places of the earth. I will bring you to the special place where I've chosen my name." I'm going to pause there because he prays a lot of other things. But here you have Moses, and then Nehemiah quoted Moses and referencing scattering language as consequences for unfaithfulness. I can't recall, and maybe there is a story in there where the Israelites were scattered unfairly. But the first time they were scattered was the Assyrians.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And that's clearly for their unfaithfulness.
Mm-hmm.
The next time was the Babylonians, clearly for their unfaithfulness. Can you point to an instance where they were unfairly scattered?
So let me ask you this. Is there, so this is the sons of Korah, right?
Yes.
So is it possible that someone's perspective, right?
Yes.
They haven't had, I mean, these guys are serving in a temple, so there's a stretch, right? But is it possible that they're not aware of? Is that something that everyone, like, is everyone privy to when, I guess, the community, is everyone privy to this when the community disobeys and does wrong?
Response to that, Henrik. Here's what I was saying in response to that. the pattern of God throughout the scriptures documented here is that he didn't do anything without announcing it first. Nobody was surprised sent into exile.
Everyone,
People
every
preach.
single human being there, Homo sapien.
People preach
There.
for years and years and years. How long Isaiah preached? How long Jeremiah preached before it became? And so people knew what Jeremiah was saying. People knew what Isaiah was saying. They remember all the prophets who came. God did that. Let's even go to Nineveh, right? When Nineveh was preached to, the king was aware and he, made sure all the people would know, and the people repented. So maybe there were a handful of people, the sons of Korah, so they were in the temple, right? They weren't
So I was
living,
going to say,
they weren't living out in
Israel
the
is
bush
still
in a far remote city in Nazareth.
correct.
They living in
So
the city.
Israel's still intact. They're still intact for the most part.
Where?
I'm saying Israel's still intact for the most part. If they're serving in the temple, then Israel, like
No, I'm saying the sons of Korah were serving in the temple. Are they serving in the temple here? I don't think so, because they appear to be scattered, right? Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Maybe they're remnants who are left behind. Maybe, I don't know. We can't tell. And sons of Korah could be a whole timeline of people.
A different timeline.
It's a timeline of people, not a specific timeline of people necessarily.
Right. Are you saying like Levites, like sons of Korah? You call them Levites. You could talk about Adventists, but you could be talking about the 1800 Adventists.
Correct.
Okay.
But these sons of Korah were temple singers, musicians, gatekeepers, leaders in Israel's worship. So this is not the farmer out in the field. These are people close to the temple. So they definitely would have been in earshot of any prophets coming to prophesy.
Correct. 100%.
On behalf of the people.
Agreed.
So it's unlikely, given that they weren't aware of the volume of prophets for the length of time where God was sending this warning of the pot bubbling in the north and all those kinds of things. How many times in the history of Israel do we have documented that they were scattered among the nations?
You will always see after rebellion.
So what are these people saying? What are they saying? What are they saying?
I'm gonna go back.
What are they saying? I think
so. I'm trying to understand exactly how he's saying it. If he's saying that we're not doing anything now, and why are you doing this?
Yes,
or we didn't do anything and you did this. So that's why I'm trying to read back through and see.
So maybe the Hebrew expert could check out the tense there for us. My version seems to say, even though we had not forgotten you, we had not broken the covenant, our hearts haven't turned away.
Man,
our feet had not wandered. Like there's a lot of past tense, and it's 3-4 verses of this, right? It's 17 through 21.
Wow, they call it an unjust suffering.
Yes.
I'm just looking at it. They call it an unjust suffering.
I'm not saying that doesn't happen to people. I'm saying how can these people claim that, given what the nature of the suffering was and the documented history of these people, how do they claim this? That's what I am.
We have not violated your covenant.
Then how did you get scattered?
You know what's frightening about this is that these people are saying we have not forgotten you, right? We have not forgotten you. And this suffering is not caused by sin. This suffering is not caused by an apparent sin. Is that a fair statement to make?
Yes, that's what they are claiming.
Yeah.
Okay. The issue with this whole thing is that they are desperately. I'm also looking at a whole bunch of words here, right? They're desperately crying out to God because they're confused. They're confused by the 1 + 1 is not equaling 2
in their minds.
So you're telling
me their version of reality.
So you're telling me that someone in Psalm 44 did something, but is not recognized or not held accountable for what they did because God is not a God that he should lie?
No, I am
Okay.
saying that either these people were innocent in the community and
Mhm.
saying and separating themselves out and say we weren't a part of that mess.
Okay.
Either they saying that, or they forget, or they asserting righteousness that they can't really, they shouldn't really be asserting. And people do that all the time. I didn't do you nothing. I didn't do nothing. You know, people do that all the time. Um, and for me, where I kind of said, because I went back and forth with the chat GPT trying to see, well, can this be true? And we settled on this is a song, and in a song, people cognitive distortions are real, and
Okay.
in music and in literature, you know, people articulate their distortions of reality. They do. And I feel like the psalm may be making the case that there's space for that in the lament to God, in the cry out to God, that God doesn't necessarily take us to task. He makes space for it. But how do you make this claim? Even
Yeah.
unless you're talking
This is
about
a
a
tou- this is a
subject and
this
you're
is a
not taking the whole, because the whole was punished because some people in the whole were unfaithful and we weren't able to course correct the whole. Jeremiah is an example of that. Jeremiah tell the people, don't go to Egypt. Y'all ask me what God said, but he said, don't go to Egypt. They pick him up and take him, and while they were down there, he had to deal with the consequences of that. Jeremiah could say, well, I didn't sin. Why am
Yeah,
I
but
supposed to?
it was more than, you know, there's still most of the people there.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying about Israel or the sons of Korah. So
Yeah,
the
I
song,
don't know. I can't I can't I
sorry,
can't make it
I
I
did
can't
not
make it
mean to
make
let those
sense.
So do we suffer for the does the good suffer for the few, or does the few suffer for the, you know?
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely,
Okay. Okay.
because the
Okay.
covenant is with the people. Talk about Achan, right? Achan demonstrates that the few suffer for the one, the many suffer for the one, because his covenant is with us as a collective. So we are
So just be
accountable to each other.
so just because Kenrick is doing right, and let's say I am doing wrong, he is going to feel the
He
scattering.
may, he may,
May.
he may.
I mean but you see it, I mean, you've seen it throughout history with all kinds of different things, right? I mean, you could take um people experience COVID differently, right? And based upon the side you're on, right? A few suffered, or many suffered for a few, or and kind of like this, like I did what I was supposed to do, right? Why did my family, why did my father pass or my mother pass or my brother? So um I'm starting to lean to your side. I tried to fight it, Jared. I can't, I don't, I don't, I don't see it because, to your point, I cannot think of a situation where um, the nation was scattered unjustly.
Mm.
Right? I think when Aiken and his whole family were killed. I mean, I think there's probably an argument about, like, the 2-year-old probably didn't deserve to get, but I think there's an argument to be made there. I think the entire nation, we know that the entire nation, being most of it, was caught up in idolatry. There
Okay.
was injustice going on. There were all these different things that were happening. Sorry, go ahead, Paul.
Okay. So here's my issue. My issue is, which I don't like, but I like, that if the covenant saves us, I'm down. Right. But if the covenant scatters us, then I don't want to be down. So let's look at the 12 tribes. When we have a tribe that has done something wrong, right? The,
Mm-hmm.
it seems as if the tribe feels it so that the rest doesn't feel it. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
When the tribe does something wrong, the
If
tribe,
if the tribe of Judah does
uh-huh,
something, the tribe of Judah is going to feel it, right? Not everyone is going to feel it. You understand where I'm coming from?
possibly.
Okay.
I mean, we had the Benjamites and we had all like the other. I
Okay.
mean,
Okay. So now we find that because, let's say, the tribe of Judah is so influential on the rest of the tribes, right? That we
mhm,
find that when one tribe does something, it's a domino effect. So everyone has to suffer for what a tribe is doing wrong.
correct.
You see where I'm coming from? All right.
I do.
There may be instances where a tribe does something and a family's going to feel it. But for the most part, 99 and a half, when we look at the word, we find that anytime, and this was a little scary, so I hate this. A leader, right? You're a leader, right?
Preach.
Don't do it to me, man. A preacher does something, then everyone else feels it, like this aching in the camp kind of thing.
Correct.
People come back and say, well, why are we feeling this? Why we have not walked away, we have not done this, but the family of Levites has done something, and so now we're all going to feel it. I think in Psalm 44, I think the cry is, yo, get them, not us.
Maybe.
Right. And that's the part of the covenant.
Them being the other people of the tribe.
Yeah.
Or the tribe, the nation, the family, the other
nation,
people, unfaithful
yeah,
people.
I'm with you.
We are part of the group, but we were faithful. So why would we be in part?
So why are we going through this? Right. I mean, even when we look at the whole issue with in come on, Paul, come on. In Egypt, the whole issue with Egypt, right? We knew that there was a section that was not feeling this. They were believers, but they were not in Egypt. You see where I'm coming from? Okay. But the plagues, the last plague, the plague with the door. Come on, Paul. The putting the firstborn, the plague
the blood over the door.
The blood on the door. Yo, that was on everybody.
Correct.
It was on everyone because the covenant is for the whole.
That's right.
The covenant is not for a special group, right? It's for the group. It's not for a special part of the group. It's for the whole, which means if the group has done something, everybody's going to pay for it.
Well, everybody's accountable, so it then forces the group
I don't like that.
to resolve to be accountable to one another and resolve. It's no longer just my business, your business, and you can't be in my business kind of thing. My business is your business because we now are this group. It's a group grade.
I got you. And remember now, we're talking about in Psalms 44, they're talking about the whole Israelite. They're talking about everybody.
That's the challenge. Are they talking about everybody? Are they talking about
so now that you well, after what you said, Paul, now I'm going through it. Maybe he's not talking, because if they've been scattered, right, then they're in different places, right?
Okay.
I don't know if he's talking about the group that he's with. I don't know.
He's talking about that group.
And they're clearly, and they are clearly somewhere else, because the last thing he says, and I'm reading NLT, he says, ransom us because of your unfailing love, right? Which means that they're looking for rescue.
Yes.
So they have already been scattered.
Yes.
So they're not, I mean, maybe it's just a group of.
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to this. Let me go back to this. Well, what about the fact that when we look at the text, right, and we find that it seems to be two parts of the chapter. The first part of the chapter talks about God pulling up, man, doing it, pulling through, non-failing, so and so. We would not expect there to be a turn of events, in the text, the way it starts and the way that it finishes.
Correct.
Yes, you would, because he's saying we heard about what you did. These people didn't experience that. They have a record. So they're
Okay.
saying we heard about all of that, but that's not what
Okay.
our experience is right now.
Okay, Jared. So if you heard about this experience, then my mindset would be that was that a different generation?
Perhaps.
Was it a different generation that jacked up? So so it's just generation paying for it.
Perhaps.
Don't perhaps me, Jared.
That maybe,
What do you think?
maybe, yeah. No, that makes sense too.
But even still, let's say that is true.
Mm-hmm.
What are they saying now? Well, we didn't actually sin, so why are you treating us bad still?
Okay.
Is that what they actually saying?
It
Or
sounds like it.
but they
So,
they
yeah.
don't have the presence of mind to know we here because you know
Yeah, but
because of the unfaithfulness of the
come
group.
on, dog. It's first
And-
of all, it's an R&B song.
Yeah. You're
It's
right.
a song.
It is an R&B song. It is a song.
It's a song.
That does make it different.
It's,
Because it's a song, it makes it a little bit different.
songs are irrational, right?
That's what I was saying.
You're my air, stop.
Yeah.
You're not, right? So
And you can distort. You can distort
he's in his feelings right now, right? I didn't pick up, and that was a good pull. I didn't pick up on the we have heard. I was reading this as this was his experience with God, not that it was someone else's.
Yeah, those who
the
came before us
ancestors
has told us
before.
what you did in the days long ago.
Which
what you did.
changes now.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't pick up on that one.
Okay, how about this?
Let me pull in this comment, and then I'll take you forward.
Okay.
Is anyone good or just? We all deserve our consequences. So just because you're doing better now doesn't mean that you should escape the societal corporate judgments. Is that your question? Yeah, that's kind of what I was asking. Well, not just should you escape.
Yeah.
Frame it as innocence, right?
Yeah, I think so. You were in a space where you were trying to understand, based upon what you've read, why this person believes it was scattered or facing this judgment, and why they believe there's no reason why they were facing the judgment. Like they couldn't see anything that they did. When if just by the words you were scattered, you were doing this, you did that. At no time in history up to this point have we seen God scatter anyone, unless there was some, and it wasn't even just like it was like the whole nation had to do something in order, like everybody was culpable in order for you to be scattered.
You know, when I look at this, Kenrick, the thing that hits me is in Psalm 44, there was a line that I recognize from Isaiah and I recognize from Romans. And it's the sheep being brought to the slaughter. When you look at the sheep being brought to the slaughter, this guy is, whoever's writing this, is inferring that, man, we're dead out here. We're dead out in the water, right? The only issue that brings us some hope is that he says that, but I know you're redeeming. Like, I know you're redeeming. But why do we got to do this to be redeemed?
Yeah, but he's going in. He was like, you sold us for a pittance. You made nothing on the sale.
Nothing on the sale. Man.
I try to think when God did that, unfairly, unjustly. That's what I keep, trying to wrestle. When did that happen? Like you making up stories in your mind now. Like you forget what went down. You remember all this good stuff that God did from the stories, but you forget this part of the story where they tell you that's the cognitive dissonance for me.
Yo, listen, my man is.
I need a therapist to come online and help me with this.
Yeah. My man is accusing God,
Yeah.
He's accusing him.
So I am leaning to this statement that Batman's saying is visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the third and fourth generations, right? It's not
talked about before.
Yeah, this wasn't his experience, which is probably why he's having this conversation.
Fair enough.
We didn't do this, right? We were scattered. I don't know. This Bama was born in it. I don't know what, where they are, right? But now, as we've talked through it, and it sounds like he's making this. He's making this complaint to God based upon the fact that they had no responsibility of this.
Okay, how about this, Kenrick? Sorry.
No, that's it.
There's a mindset in this, is that everyone suffers, right? Everyone goes through something. Could this be the mindset of, God, you're not moving fast enough?
Perhaps.
Right? And then because God is not moving fast enough with what's going on, he's now picking the bad things, like my dude, I feel like a melon. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this. I feel like what if what he's saying is, if we're the chosen ones and you have done this in the first part of the chapter, he's talking about, you have done this, you have done that. I mean, he's throwing out the resume of God, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Okay. Then he comes back. And when he comes back, he's like, but what the hell?
Yes, that's his one.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope I don't get fired.
He's like, what? Verse 22, Lord, why are you sleeping? Don't say no to us forever. Like, what's going on?
What's going on? And I'm gonna tell you what gets me here concerning this. Isn't it okay though, Kenrick, Jared, to cultivate a human response, man?
Yes. So that's kind of where I landed, because it's a song and it's an emotional statement of how I feel in this moment. I feel like the presence of the psalm is saying, it's giving space for us to make those complaints and have those distortions.
Okay.
Or at least in our expression to God. That
you're saying whether fair or unfair.
Whether fair or unfair, we can have, because Job did that, right? And
Correct.
he did it for a long time before God showed up, right? Now God eventually came and told him, know your place, right? But
no, where were you?
But God still gave him space, and that's the relational part for that to be a part of it.
Okay, I got a question, right? I got a question for both of y'all. The human mindset. Yo, God, when things like this happen, I don't feel like behaving no more. I don't want to be. I don't care. I don't care to be held accountable. Now remember, now it wasn't because of your actions. You're saying, man, I've been holding to this thing. Yeah, I got cancer. I've been holding to this thing, and my child died. I've been going through this thing, and I lost my job. Man, I never did anything to lose the job. I did. You're going through this thing, and you're saying, look, I know your resume, God. I know you good, but man, you moving slow. You're moving slow.
Yeah, but I think it's a natural human, kind of human.
So then we shouldn't preach to people. We shouldn't preach to people that you shouldn't complain.
Complaining is different from voicing.
I remember this time, Jerry probably. So I come home and Jewel finds a necklace in the house.
All right, later. All
right. Jewel finds a necklace in the house, and she's like, "Whose necklace is this?" And I'm like, "I don't know whose necklace this is."
Right.
And she was like, "Well, it's not mine." I was like, "Well, it's not mine."
Right.
Right.
We got two daughters.
But they're like little. It's like they're.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, this is years and years ago.
Okay.
So it wasn't that she was salty. It's just like I just didn't like. I was like, I didn't like. At least let me benefit from the experience. Like if I'm gonna catch the third degree, at least let me
get in there
from whatever I'm getting the third degree from. So it's worth. I'm like, I did nothing. I'm the same. Like I've got nothing out of this thing outside of
the flack.
Yes.
It's the flack.
Degree. Yeah.
So the human experience is always just like, if I didn't do anything, if I can't remember that I did, if I didn't participate in this particular thing, I might have been doing something before. If I didn't participate in this particular thing, why am I being judged, accused, punished, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that's what humans go through in general.
Right. And that this track on the playlist of scripture in the playlist, right, suggests to me that is one of those things that the relationship with God makes space for. You know,
My joint did say interlude on here. At
Mm-hmm.
chapter 9, it says interlude. I was, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's one of them things the relationship makes space for, and so, you know, I wouldn't say that we could go overboard with it, but it's okay to say those things, to voice those things. It's okay to even put it in song or write it down or make it a part of it, or use that kind of language in your prayers to make those kinds of challenges. That's what I believe. That's why I ended up settling up. This is not historically correct. A fact.
Sure.
No,
Jazz, give me a second.
Go ahead.
Let's go to another. I wanted to go back into another version. And again, Jad, I love your version, right? Because King James Version will never help you. Not in this. There's one version that says, in his complaint, he's saying, I was not aware. I'm not aware of what happened, of what's going on. You understand where I'm coming from?
What version is that?
Hold on, bro. Hold on. Just give me. Come on, brother. You know what? I want to apologize. This was a Bible study.
Okay.
This was a Bible study, but I like what he's saying. Man, I lost it because he's saying that. Oh, I'm not aware of any sin Israel has committed. Israel wasn't worshiping idols. That's what he said, right? In verse 20 and 21. If you go back to your kid version, I don't know, what does 20 and 21 say?
20 says, we didn't forget our God. We didn't spread out our hands in a false prayer to a false God. If we had, God would have discovered it. He knows the secrets of our hearts.
I love that. Okay, if we have, right, which means I'm not aware, right?
Yeah,
I'm not aware, and I think that the sons of Korah who wrote this I think it's really a strong language, Jared, when you presuppose that somebody need to be. There wasn't holding someone accountable. What if they just didn't know? I don't know where this thing is. Just the same way where they had to check the camp to find out where's the mistake in the camp, where's the issue in the camp. You understand where I'm coming from?
I'm challenged with that.
Oh, Jesus.
Because I'm challenged with that idea only because of the due diligence that the prophet writings demonstrate of God sending prophet for years and years and years, showing his long suffering and revealing the issues to the people, right?
Yes.
He didn't just wake up one day and surprise them with the scattering.
I understand.
What's
That's
happening?
your word. That's your word. We're stuck on the word scattering because scattering does not happen unless something happens
Correct.
first.
Correct.
That's the covenant. That's the promise. Scattering is tied to unfaithful, and he's even saying it here. You scattered us, but we didn't.
We didn't do nothing.
Wait, what? You didn't? So how you get scattered? And show me in the history where it have that story in here.
But that's the thing. So it goes back to what we were talking about.
Sorry, Sharika. We are in Psalm 44, and I'm trying to understand how these people could make this claim.
Because he's not thinking about he's thinking about the we today, not the we past generations.
Fair enough. I could receive that.
The collective still God ain't haven't did.
But he's jumping back and forth.
They're all
jumping back and forth in the
traveling down this thing, huh?
But he jumps back and forth in the we. In the first section, he says, "We have heard what you have done. Those before told us. You gave us victory over our enemies." So he's referring to himself as part of that us, right? But in this us, he's saying we is not that us? Is he making is he drawing a line of demarcation later on?
Have you met a rational R&B? Like, this is Casey and JoJo weren't trying to figure out what us and we's.
That's true. That's true.
Okay.
In the song,
It could be different.
You have to figure it out as a listener in the song.
And the fact that he divided it up, kind of, also helps with that, because it was to your point, it was two different conversations that are going on, right? It was the we heard about this and you did this,
Mm-hmm.
and then now it comes down to like, but now you clearly forgotten this because we're going through this.
All of
and
this happened to us.
we didn't do anything.
Even though all of this happened to us, all of us, even though we didn't forget about you. So he might be pointing to doing an emphasis there on the we didn't forget about you.
Yo, check this out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Check this out. I was just reading it again, but I went King James on us, okay?
All right.
What if the psalmist, what if these guys wrote this song to say, many of you all in the future are going to read this and find that you felt like God has let you down and you don't see where you messed up. I think the real prayer in this whole thing is, get up, God.
Yes, that's where he does conclude. Yeah.
I don't want to conclude it. I'm not trying to close it off, right?
No, I'm saying that's where he.
That's where he finished up.
Right. Because I think what happens for us so often is that we like to pray, right? And when we pray, we like to start off giving God accolades. That's what happened here, right? I'm talking about my house, man. When I grew up with my daddy, all right, in my church at home, okay. That we start the prayer with accolades. Then we come and we complain. All right. But I don't think we close off enough on
do something.
Not only for us, but it's almost like he's saying, save your reputation.
Mm.
You know,
absolutely.
Yeah. It's like the sons of Korah is like, yo, listen, man, you bugging out, but save your reputation at least, because we're the ones preaching about your reputation. We're the ones singing about it. We're the ones leading worship about it and whatever. Man, we're looking kind of bad out here.
That's a little bold face and lack of kind of prideful, you think? Bold face, maybe not prideful, but that's a little bold face. You don't think?
Holy arrogance.
Holy arrogance. Yo, but if you look at it, right? Hold on.
It's like who decides when it's time for you to come off a punishment?
Okay, that's the issue.
Who makes that call?
Because when you look back at the other,
but you
I'm not misbehaving anymore. Why am I still on punishment? I've been good for the last 4 hours. Why am I still here? I have not misbehaved for the last 4 hours. Forget what happened at 3 o'clock in the morning. Forget that. I've been good for the last 6 hours.
Okay, good.
Listen,
I hate to say this about my dad, right? I hate to say this about my dad, but I'm gonna share something with y'all, and y'all can't do nothing to him now. Man, I remember we used to get in trouble. We have 3 bathrooms in our house growing up. When he came home and the place wasn't clean, he would say, "You to the bottom bathroom, you to the top bathroom, and you to the bathroom. You kneel there on the ground until I say get up." I can hear this Negro snoring. You hear me?
Oh, he meant get up in the morning?
No.
Until he told you to move.
When you get up when I tell you to get up, right? I mean, he gets home 4 o'clock, place ain't clean, get to the bathrooms, go kneel down in the bathroom until I tell you to come out. Man, this guy fall asleep. And I'm saying, what can wake this cat up? Because how long do we got to stay on our knees? How long are we going to sit here? How long? And I'm thinking to myself, isn't these guys to some degree saying, okay,
yeah, man, the other prayers like that, but where they acknowledge we did wrong, but how long? Right? These guys doing something different here. They say how long, because we didn't do nothing.
Yo, sometimes my dad come home in a bad mood, bro. All right, I ain't do nothing wrong. Or, ooh, check this out, y'all. Check this out. Remember we talked about earlier, if a tribe did something, they all paid for it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It could be that Pat didn't do the chore, right? We all paid for it.
Yeah, because
Gary didn't do.
you're supposed to keep Pat in check.
And that is that the point of accountability you're talking about,
That's what
right?
I'm talking about.
So here it is. I'm sitting there. So I'm sitting there in the third bathroom saying, I didn't do nothing. I did my part. I cleaned the dishes. And because that cat didn't do the living room, we all gonna pay for this. Redeem your character, Dad. Because this don't make no kind of sense.
That's the only way this makes sense. If they saying, it wasn't me. It was them. It wasn't me.
Oh,
Now,
that was a good song. That was a good song.
It was a different context, but yes.
I got a smile out of Sharika, boy. I got a smile out of that girl, boy.
It definitely was.
If that's the
Definitely
case,
was.
it raises a whole different set of issues because now it becomes the whole individualism versus collectivism type dynamic.
Okay.
Now I'm delineating myself from the others, which
But
I guess has its place.
But it's not even his. I don't think he's doing it for himself. I think he's doing it for the group of people that now are suffering because of the previous group that did what they did.
So
right. So it's still talking about the collective, right? It's just not the collective that's alive.
So they're making a claim of, okay, yes, you have to honor the covenant for the unfaithful, but what about the covenant for the faithful? The faithful in the midst.
Correct.
Don't you have to honor your covenant to them too?
Yes, I think that's where he's going with this. I think that's where he's going with this. 100%.
What do you think he means when he says, "Oh, come on, man, you know our heart." But you know what I'm saying? I mean, in the midst of his complaint, he's like, "Yo, man, you know our hearts." Is he saying that, "Yo, we love you"?
Well, he went through the things. He went through the things that they did. He's like, our heart is not turned back.
Sharika, fix your face.
We have not, our steps decline. Neither have our steps
This is
declined.
my resting face.
That's your resting face.
Man, I just miss y'all, man. I mean, man. She said it's my resting face.
Go ahead, Kerrick.
I'm sorry, Kerrick. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No, he said it. He said he went through and started labeling all the things that they haven't been. Like we haven't. I'm in King James version now, I think. Yeah. So it's like we have not dealt falsely in thy covenant. Our heart is not turned back. Neither have our steps declined from. Like he's like he's like the rich young ruler. Like I did this. Like what are we talking about?
It's that make a little more sense because just stay with me here. When God was going to wipe out Sodom and Gomorrah, he was like, if it had 5 people in there, I would save it, right? The fact that I wiped it out means it didn't have nobody, right? But God's conversation with Elijah was, I always keep a remnant, right? So it still have people who faithful, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it still have a remnant in the group. So as much as we have to be accountable as a group to God for the unfaithfulness of part of the group, the faithful people have an argument to make about God honoring the covenant to them too. You don't think so?
So
does it just work in the consequences?
Say it again.
No.
I'm sorry, Jared. Say it again, Jared.
I'm saying because there's a remnant. We're gonna go with Elijah's
mindset.
Elijah's conversation with God and God saying that there's a remnant.
Mm-hmm.
Let's assume that persists across time, right?
Mm-hmm.
That even when Israel sinned and got scattered, there was a remnant in there who was faithful. Let's assume that, right? There was a Jeremiah who was faithful. There was and there was a group of them. There was enough of them that they were there, right? They weren't part of the group. The whole group is being punished, because Gary and Patrick were bad. All of them being punished, right? But you were really faithful to do your task, and you are getting caught up in the punishment. You who were faithful have a right to appeal to the same covenant for restoration because of your faithfulness. And that would benefit everyone else. So, like, just like I got punished for their unfaithfulness, they would get restored because of mine.
Because of
correct.
And both things can be true at the same time. And so then it becomes this tension of, faithfulness to the covenant for both the punishment and the reward for faithfulness, right? God has to be faithful to both groups of people. And so I could see from that standpoint, they're making this appeal if this is true about them and they are this subset remnant.
Correct. Because your word, because the claim is that your word is true in both cases.
Correct.
Your word is true because you punish them, and we are now in this situation. But your word also has to be true that if we're faithful to you, then you will restore.
No, the word says if you return, he will restore.
Right.
But what about the people who didn't turn at all?
What do you mean didn't turn at all?
If there's a remnant, there were people who were never unfaithful, so they don't have anywhere to turn back to, right? They were faithful and got punished, and now they're still faithful and they're still in punishment. No?
I can understand that in theory. I don't know how that applies to this one.
So the people who are writing this, the sons of Korah who are writing this psalm, let's assume that they are part of the remnant. The remnant of this period, right?
Okay.
Not Elijah's remnant, a remnant in the nation. So there are a small group of people who never bowed to the idols. They were always faithful. Yes, their neighbors around them, and much of the people, they are. Let's go. They are Joshua and Caleb, right? Who had to wander for 40 years while the rest of the people who were unfaithful died. They can now make this claim. They now have a right to appeal to God for the covenant to apply to them because of their faithfulness. And if that appeal is heard, then the rest of the nation would benefit because of it.
Correct.
And so let's assume the sons of Korah are a Joshua and Caleb, whose heart were faithful the entire time. Joshua and Caleb were not unfaithful when they went into the land to test. And then they stayed faithful for the whole time that they were wandering in the desert.
I got you.
But they were subject to the punishment nonetheless.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
God had to be faithful to them too. That make more sense now. If that is
true, Jared, I really like this so much, right? On a whole personal level, because on the flip side, let's just be real about this, whether you have kept the commandments or not, you're still a sinner.
Right.
You still don't got nothing to boast about.
Correct.
I'm just telling you, right? Because these are the same people where we recognize, whether it's the Psalms, whether it's Isaiah, that your righteousness is like filthy rags. In fact, he talks about the truth of the matter is, and I want you to think about this. I'm going to agree with you on another point, right? Because I don't like agreeing with you. That he complains about being a lamb brought to the slaughter. Right? And he's talking about all of them, not just him alone, but all of them. But when you look at Romans, you also find that that's what everyone deserved.
Mm-hmm.
You upset because it's like we mad at God, right? Because we all got to die, right? God, man, what kind of God are you that everybody, I mean, it'd be nice if everybody had to die and God said, this is your time. Go ahead, lay down in green pastures, lay down and rub your back to your die and I'll see you at the resurrection, right? People are suffering. You know what I'm saying?
Death,
Cats are
death
suffering.
is painful. Yes.
Death is painful, man. You lose a loved one, you don't ever see them again. You see this stuff. What I'm saying to you right now is that we all have sinned, so we all deserve to be like a lamb brought to the slaughter.
Correct.
But he's complaining about that. So I'm gonna side with you on this point that, man, how could you you're only complaining because you said you never did idols.
And idols is what will get you scattered.
Okay.
Because
But the
that's the
rest,
language.
but
That's
the
the
rest,
language. It's the
you ain't got
idols that get you scattered.
But if you look at this, you got nothing else.
Correct.
So I'm glad you said that, Paul, because I was actually going to push back on Jared a little bit because in your thing was like, we're going to, you have a right to complain. I get, I get why you complain.
Not a right, but God makes space for it.
Oh, look at this
Make
story.
space for it. And my response was going to be more like Paul's like, how you going to complain? Like, what'd you complain about? Like, you didn't get caught this time.
That's right.
But you've done some dirt.
Yeah.
That's what God said to Job. He didn't say you got caught this time, but he said, but what you complaining about? You know what's going on with me?
Hey, listen,
you know what's going on with me?
Hey, listen, I like, were you there when I
were you there when
I you don't even know what this is about. Don't get in grown folks' business, please.
That's right. You know what I like? I'm gonna tell you what this brings to me. This also brings to me, and I'm sorry, family. I got a movie to watch because I'm not preaching tomorrow.
Okay.
As many times as we have rejected Christ, he has still backed us up with his armies. As many times as we rejected Christ, right? As many times as we have sold, I like what you said, Kenrick, how we've sold the gospel, right? At a pittance, and got nothing back for it. Yo, he's still willing to turn that all around. But a lot of it, I'm going to say this, a lot of it can't go without suffering. Now, I'm going to tell you what I believe, man, and I got in some trouble for it the other day. And I'm fine. I don't believe that everything you do, there's a consequence.
That's true.
I'm telling you, I don't believe that. I don't believe that everything you do, there's a consequence.
Well, at least not one you see or feel immediately. At least, at the very least.
How you get in trouble with that statement?
Because we have this mindset that if you do this, this is going to happen. Our religion, many religions, when it comes to God, right, is based on you do this, I'll do this for you. It's all transactional.
Yeah, facts.
But the more I read Christ, even in the Old Testament, I find that God is not really interested in being transactional. I'm gonna love you either way.
Correct. Correct. I'm here.
And it can't. And there's, I guess that's one of the things I always had question about. Like, you can't be transactional when there's mercy
or grace.
Or grace.
You can't.
It can never be transactional if there's grace.
Listen. I can say this on here, right? I went to the doctor to get a blood test, right? All the blood tests came back, cholesterol a little high, so and so, whatever, PSAs, blah blah, whatever. There was a section on there that said sexual transmitted diseases, right?
That's the only one you focused on.
Listen. Well, I focused on.
Why is that on there?
and mind you, right? I've been married 24 years, right? And I'll tell y'all, I ain't everywhere, you know. But the fact of the matter that I saw it, I said, let's look at this thing here. Right? Right? Wait a second. Because listen, I'm just saying, right? We know all the problems, we know all the studies, you know, is something gonna catch me from college? Is something gonna catch, you know, I love my wife to death, but I'm not trying to be fun. I don't know what she's doing. I don't watch her. You understand where I'm coming from? I went to the listen, I went to the what do you call it?
You're putting your head on a block, is what you saying.
Say this.
You're not putting your head on a block, is what you saying.
All right, good.
You need to press the button.
Listen, man, the people put a needle to draw the blood. They could have given me something. I mean, anything, right? I'm looking at it and I said, it's a 0.00 probability. Okay. 0.0 probability. 0. Listen, man, let me tell you something. The foolishness of life.
Correct.
The foolishness of life. And it's not just that, right? Look at the garbage I eat. Right? The other day I took my blood pressure, 119 over 50 something, right? And you know, my mom was like, praise God, you know what I mean, or whatever, right? But I know what it's going to be tomorrow. The fact of the matter is that
like you did something.
and then every time something goes wrong in my life, right? Take for instance your wife. I'm just saying, right? Lost her dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first thing you kind of think of is, I'm just saying me. This is Paul Graham. This got nothing to do with y'all. Damn, what did I do? What did I do that happened to my dad? What did I do that between my mom and my dad passing is too close? Are you understand where I'm coming from? What did I do wrong? And God is like, where you get that from?
Correct.
And that is the struggle. I'm not afraid to say this to y'all. That's the struggle that Paul Graham has, because when you're taught to be a minister in this faith and many other faiths, it's a transactional thing.
Mm-hmm. Wait a minute.
Oh, Jesus.
There we go.
Let's go ahead.
There we go.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome. Right.
Enter the chat.
Anybody that take their tongue across their teeth like that.
We got it from God the Father. Let's be very clear.
We did?
Oh, yes. Lord, here we go.
There are many examples of God the Father saying, I did this because your parents, your grandparents, your daddy, your uncle, your whatever, I'm getting my lick back, right? Or I'm clearing out this whole entire lineage because I said so, because you did dumb stuff. Now, people take that as being transactional. It's two different things. But we know where we got it from, and we interpreted it the wrong way.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Because we think
it didn't come out of thin air, is what you're saying.
Not only that, we think that it's an if-then. It was literally just a fulfillment of a promise. Do dumb stuff. I'm going to do this. Not necessarily buy, sell, or you give me something, I give you something back. You do this.
Bet your bottom dollar I'm faithful to do that.
I'm faithful enough to do that.
Okay, Sharika. Okay.
But on the flip side, because again, transactional in many cases has the inverse. Just because you're good doesn't mean I'm giving you anything else.
Okay.
Correct.
Wow. Because you preach a good sermon don't mean that I'm gonna put a little money in your pocket, get you the lotto, or anything of that nature. Thank you for just doing what you're supposed to be doing.
What you're supposed to be doing. Like, you know, like if you're from a West Indian background, you bring home A's. We're not celebrating. This is what you're
supposed to do.
Don't leave anything on the table. You know what I'm saying? You come home with a 95, you left those 5. Where did they go?
Where did they go?
And so because transactional goes both ways.
Okay. Hey.
And we don't like to feel the scientific Murphy's Law. What will go wrong? What can go wrong will go wrong. Right. Carry on foolishly. We then call it transactional.
Okay.
Because it makes us feel better to believe that, okay, if I'm bad, then bad things happen. But if I'm good, I'm expecting good things. And then therefore, da-da-da-da-da. That's where you get the...
And I'm entitled. It
I'm
just breeds
entitled.
entitlement.
But we do it to each other too. I mean, all
Definitely. And we
relationships
take this idea that
yeah.
we're special too far. Oh, we're
we
God's
do.
chosen people. Nobody cares.
We do.
Nobody cares. You're not that important.
Matter of fact, I love you. I got 9 more minutes, and I'm not getting off until 9 more minutes, man. I'm gonna preach this sermon.
Your movie starts at 9:30.
He's making a movie.
Yes.
Never mind. He looks like he's about to make a. He looked like he's about to make a movie.
That V right there. You see it?
Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all. Listen, I was listening, and I went to my email. And I said, "Man, I'm jumping on this cat." And I forgot I was
about to make a Sabbath movie.
What you saying? Chicken.
3 a.m. after dark.
I forgot.
You should have said it's uncut. It's really what it is.
What?
3 p.m. uncut.
You know, my father would say, "Y'all will break up any high mass at any day." Listen, I appreciate this study, man. I do. I really appreciate this study. And isn't it amazing what it would be like if you gave the church the opportunity to just talk back with this one? Talk about 11 o'clock service with this one.
Absolutely not.
Oh, come on, man.
Why not?
My church is straight West Indian.
Why not, Bishop? Why not?
That reason right there. That one right there.
Oh.
The problem is with, to quote Pablo, some people need to be silent in the church.
It ain't.
But that's the thing, man. You gotta give space for it to get worked out.
No, it's not a matter of space for it to get worked out, because there's a difference of posture. Are you coming in to learn? Or are you coming in to defend the thought that you have because it validates how you think you should be living your life?
Sharika, I've been a pastor 33 years, and listening to Jared before coming on, right? Presenting that kind of topic, I would have immediately remember now. I'm reading it while this thing is going on, right? I would immediately say, "I'm coming to defend God. I'm coming to defend God."
But
you know what I mean?
But the problem I have is that
we need a defender on the team.
Well, I'm not a defender right now.
But the problem with being a defender,
I've been converted.
A problem with being a defender, the majority of people in the congregation have never read the Bible through and through.
Okay,
fair enough.
The majority of the people
in the conversation
have never even left the versions that they're aware of. The majority of them have never looked up a root word. The majority of them don't know the animals didn't just come in 2 by 2. Like there's, and I'm not trying to be facetious.
No.
When you're having these levels of conversation, I think it's unfair to those who have studied to have to sit in the room with the unstudied. And I think you have to have a certain level of patience to sit in the room with the unstudied and ignorant and defensive, because some of them come in with all three. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't do it, but we got to break this up, because you could, Sharika going home, right? When somebody do something, I'm be like, you know what? It's been real, folks. I'm gonna talk to you later. Not because I don't want to have the discourse.
You gotta.
I don't mind.
You gotta keep the objective in mind.
It has to be. The objective has to be there, and I don't. Unfortunately, so many people, at least that I've run into, are more interested in defending their version of Christianity than they are being open-minded to the fact that they may not know. Not that they're wrong, but they may not know.
But it's people who's creating the space need to keep the objective in mind, not the participants, just the people who manage in the space.
Yeah, but there's still something that's required from the participants. And my only, I guess my only requirement would be, if I had to have one, would be, I think many times people come and they bring their thoughts and apply it to the scripture, or apply it to what you're reading, as opposed to allowing the scripture and what's being read and applying it to what you are, like, to who you are and what you're doing. I think it works the opposite way.
They want to validate their behavior in many ways.
I agree that people come like that. I think it's just okay that they do, as long as the person who's managing the space preserves the objective in the management of the space. I think it's okay for all those people to show up just as they are.
I changed my mind. Come on. right? Come through. Don't be offended. Because I think about where I came from, right? And I remember Jared having to tell, I don't remember who it was, but he told somebody because I was upset about something. They were like, oh my gosh, tell Sharika I'm sorry. I don't get offended. I'm just upset in the moment. It is what it is. Like, nobody cares. Right? Like, don't be offended. Be upset. Right. Don't take it personal. Be passionate about what you believe. Be open-minded about it. But like, we're not trying to I'm not trying to Peter you because I will. I'm not trying to though. You know what I'm saying? And I think I don't know how we get back to that open state of thought.
You have to create a space. What happens if people get transformed in the space?
It's more than that because when I speak to Debbie Grant Winter, sorry, Mom. Right. What did I say the other day? We were talking about God.
Is she on?
Who knows? She might be. She probably
not anymore.
We're talking about God and we're talking about the orange man. They're not related. And
exactly.
I was like, you know what? Everybody who reports to everybody. I was like, I want all the gods to come over. Whoever you report to. No, sir, one God. Whoa, pause. Let's not lose focus on what I'm saying. I was like, on top of that, the Quran speaks about Jesus and she was just like, no, I heard. I was like, see, this is why we're not having this conversation. Back to what I said. Like when you have that level of I can't introduce a thought that what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't even offend. It's just very
some people, Sharika, some people can't.
Oh, that people be offended.
It's just some people can't handle contrary, something that's contrary.
But God is contrary. He is very contentious. He does very contrary things. He might even be contradictory.
Contrary to human nature, absolutely.
I was going to say, according to the humans, like that.
He's not.
That's not how we operate, though.
Correct.
You know, it's funny when Jesus was talking to Nicodemus, he made a comment to him about you guys pay attention to the contrary winds and swear you know which way it's going, right? And it's amazing sometimes that contrary winds brings us to a place where there's always results. Mm-hmm. Contrary winds always bring about a result, right? And I think that some people are not willing because they're not ready for the result.
Let me clear this up. Debbie Grant Winter is fine. Her and I came to a mutual agreement that everybody's cool. I don't want everybody to believe that she's not on the side.
I'm not talking about. I'm just talking about.
No.
In general.
No, I'm talking in general. But again, there are people out there who would take that 2 sentences that I just said and ran with it and gone through the woods. And I'm like, let me clear this very up. Open, accepting to everybody, whoever you want to do, see or whatever. But to your point, we want to predict the wind versus just taking the wind for what it is. It's wind.
It's helpful to predict the wind. That way I could get some breeze, some clothes dry, all them kind of things. It could be used a little bit that can predict it.
The clothes are gonna, like in the words of Glorilla, at the end of the day gonna end. The wind is gonna dry the clothes either at noon, 3 o'clock, or 4 p.m.
And it actually doesn't even matter what direction the wind's coming.
Like, and it doesn't matter which direction.
Knowing the direction of the wind, you just got wind.
You just got to put the clothes outside.
But the direction of the wind is held to the sail,
Well, if you're trying to go somewhere, I'm just saying we're just trying to dry clothes.
Listen, family, I'm be watching a movie on the Sabbath, so listen.
You in this movie?
Let me just share.
First of all, you put your glasses on.
I got a question. What we read here, is it a parable or is it fact?
Both.
It's not a parable.
Fact.
It's not a parable.
It's fact.
It's a song, which means it's someone's perspective on their reality. And that's what I landed on with Uncle Chat about this. That this is wrong. This is somebody, and people in songs have a certain kind of license to express.
Yes.
And sometimes we distort our realities in that emoting. How I'm feeling in this moment, the song is meant to capture that. And it may or may not be rooted in reality. And that's okay because it's a song. And it's a song of a prayer. and it's on the playlist. It made it to the list,
It
which
made it
means
to the list.
Wait, Jared. How are you defining parable? Because I just looked it up, and I very much believe I stand by both.
No.
so a
How you tell me no?
parable is a story crafted to make a point. This is a song that someone is expressing that we can take and use metaphorically for a lot of things. But a parable is not necessarily a song, and a song is not necessarily a parable.
But this wasn't crafted. This was experienced by this person,
Correct.
as opposed to something like created.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, and what's so important about this not being a parable but being an actual situation is that we're gonna deal with this. We're gonna deal with this crap. We're all
Absolutely.
I still just use my good friend Gemini and ask the question: can a song be a parable?
It can.
Yeah,
it can. This
song is not.
Yeah, not this song. Not 44.
Yeah. A song could be a parable, but this song isn't.
I don't know if it's all. I don't know if it. David is interesting. I don't know.
This is Korah. They're the sons of Korah. These are not. This is not David. These are the sons of Korah.
Right. These are sons of Korah who's complaining.
The musicians in the church, and they're talking about the.
I do agree with you, David. David does go out there on one.
Yes, and he uses a lot of metaphors.
It's just a lot. Yeah.
You have a lot. You have a lot of metaphors. Yeah. Listen, gentlemen and lady.
We appreciate you.
Yo, good seeing you, brother.
It's a pleasure coming by.
Tell Miss Wynn I said hello.
I sure will. I sure
and just
will.
don't do anything I wouldn't do twice.
Oh, twice.
Can I go
we
twice?
can do this twice. She'll do everything twice.
She will.
Twice. So don't use the twice part. You may not do it at the same time.
Yeah.
Do it twice.
Because
you're nervous the first time.
We don't want nobody getting scattered. We're getting scattered. Love you guys, man. It's a pleasure talking to you guys, brother. Man. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, Kenrick. I always want to ask: are you among us, or or you just got great Wi-Fi?
I'm back in. I'm back home.
Wow, this sucks. All right. I'm trying to leave, but I see the leave button now. When it's time to go, but you're not ready to go. You know what I mean?
It's like back in the day when you have social and you've been trying to leave since 11 and it's 2:00 in the morning.
You just want to stay for 24 more minutes until he take away.
Listen. If you're not gonna mash up my life.
Okay, sorry. I want you to sleep well tonight, as my father would say.
I'm getting up late tomorrow. All right. Y'all take care.
All right, man.
All right, later.
I appreciate him coming through and processing that with us. That was cool.
I missed a good.
Yeah, I wasn't sure we were gonna get there. But that worked.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. So I'm walking away from this better understanding the interplay between the community, where the community has faithfulness and unfaithfulness, and God has obligations to both in the community. And now I have to process that a little bit more, and this psalm is helping me to picture that.
It is, but it's also like, God didn't see, he saw generations, right? He saw time, right? But all of them were the same people. Like it was the same group of people, just, all the way through, right? And a lot of times we don't, we've had this conversation a few times where it's just this Western philosophy that we operate in, that is very individualistic.
Mm-hmm.
And we do not see and so, we may see it in family, like, right? But I don't know if we see it in groups. And clearly there was something going on, to where they were, he had a problem about being punished for something that the group
But others in
had
the
done.
group.
Others in the group, or a completely different group.
Well, others in the big group that they all
Others in the
belong.
big group, that whether they were before him or during him or whatever.
Mhm.
And I'm wondering, like, yes, I think there is a space to complain, but is there a space to also just collectively just say, we're gonna
We
sit
did
in
it.
this?
We did it. Yeah. That's why I pointed on Nehemiah and Daniel. Well, we didn't get to Daniel, but Nehemiah and Daniel pray that way. It was Daniel, and Ezra too. Where did I write it down? Daniel 9. In Daniel 9, Daniel makes the same kind of prayer. He says, "We have all sinned." And you don't know what, and he does that collectivist idea. Enough of us have done it that we have done it. In Daniel
Yeah.
9. That it's us. And then you see, what was the group where they made the the group when they were going back on the other side, the east side of the river, the Jordan. I think it was half the tribe of Manasseh and Reuben, and I think it was Gad who were going back over the thing, and they made the monument, and the other tribes heard about it and was like, "Yo, we coming to deal with that because we not going to take no
We're
punishment."
not correct. Yeah.
It's there's that group level accountability that
Correct.
it's us, and so we have to almost self-police us, or keep us accountable so that we remain faithful in front of
So
God.
I wonder how little the children of Israel would have experienced. Now they still would have experienced some things, because we mentioned it, Achan, and but if they would not have experienced the scattering if you did have groups
More of that.
were taking accountability and were holding
Correct.
each other accountable.
Correct. Yeah.
Which is like, so are there things, which now making me think about, like, my community, my group, are there things that either someone is not holding me accountable for, or I'm not holding them accountable for, where we will all suffer?
Because in our Western society, that's my business. That's not your
I'm gonna
business.
say you can't hold someone accountable if you're not even conversing about what's going on in your life.
Correct.
Facts.
Right. And so, like, I was talking on Instagram the other day with someone about the effects of, like, or the widespread, rather, of loneliness in our society, and the difference between being lonely and alone.
Mhm.
And it's like we have a onset of loneliness in community, which would prevent us from being accountable, which then we still scatter, and then you perpetuate not only loneliness but being alone.
Yeah.
And so who breaks that barrier? Who
Can you break that down? What's the difference between being alone and loneliness? I mean, I understand what loneliness is. What do you mean by alone?
By yourself, being alone. But
in the community alone?
No, just alone.
Just by yourself.
Oh, you're saying alone, not in. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm with you. I thought you were saying,
and then
within the
loneliness
community.
being.
I got you.
Yeah. So
I got you.
It's such an interesting world because we don't. Social media has forced us to devalue interpersonal, in-person relationships.
Yes. On top of being in a Western community that puts heavy value on individualism.
Correct.
So you can't even be accountable because I don't even see you. I don't even talk to
you. It's my business. That's none of your business.
It's whatever business I tell you.
Yes. Yeah. I'm not sharing, we're not in community sharing life and experiences and myself. I'm not being vulnerable enough to share myself with others.
And if you run into a friend like me who refuses to ask you questions, you're screwed, right? Because
Correct.
some people need to be prompted,
Inquire. Yes. Mhm.
right? And I'm like, people tell me what they want to tell me. It ain't got nothing to do with me. They don't tell me I drink water, mind my business, right?
Or you don't ask questions because you don't want to know.
Well, it
Yeah,
depends. If
that
I think
too.
the federales are involved, then I'm like, pause, right? But I also have this weird notion, and it's because of who I am. If you wanted to know, you would tell me. Right? Like, and so it's a catch-22 in so many
Correct.
ways.
Correct.
And I'm willing to admit that. It's not helping, clearly. However, in the absence of these vulnerable moments, we will continue to scatter
Correct.
because we are scattered
So,
now.
so what do you think? So how do we? Because clearly there's no example of this isolation in the Bible.
No, because the construct is very different. The
Correct.
nation is a nation of families. It's brothers whose families have spread out. So it's a big family.
Correct.
Um,
Which in
and
theory, I mean,
and the nation idea is built around that. And it was a collectivist society. Our society is individualist society. It's me and mine, and we in the same space, but it's not shared. And I'm private, and I only elevate me. And consumerism.
and the idea is that the church is supposed to solve for that.
Well, the church is also, so the challenge of the church is it's trying to do that in a society that says otherwise, and then its forms that it uses to do that only perpetuate the individuality
The
more,
visual, correct.
because it feeds that seeker, come and get your needs met kind of thing. So I'm really only here for me, and then the form creates, when you prioritize worship services, and this is one of the things that I was advocating for in another space. When you just focus on worship services, you end up having people who have the similar affinities in the same space. It's almost like I go to a Beyonce concert because I'm fans of Beyonce. We share a moment together. We don't really talk because we're paying attention here. We can't really interact. And then we said we were in community, but all we did was sing this one song together because we're both
No,
fans
that's
of Beyonce.
I remember when we were trying to, when we had that group and we were trying to find ways to influence, because it was like it needed to, if you're saying you're this and you're looking for this, then the forum has to reflect or at least create the opportunity to do that.
Right. So you have the societal influence of individualism, consumerism, and then the forms don't, we don't put as much emphasis on the forms that would force us to have engagement. We don't put as much emphasis on lunch.
But here's the thing, I think.
Sorry, one more thing, Shrika. You'll see in the Old Testament, particularly in Leviticus, they have all these feasts, right? And he would say, don't work today, come together and cook some food and eat. Because those, and he mandated those spaces, right? And then he did it in the rhythm of Sabbath, and the Sabbath idea almost forced community onto you in your weekly rhythm. It forced you to stop. It forced us all to stop at the same time and make time to spend time. At least for 24 hours so it was a weekly rhythm. And then you had the things on top of that. So he built it into the system. And so it perpetuated it. But go ahead, Shrika.
I was going to say it's similar to a West Indian culture. I remember when we spent a lot of time in Jamaica, and even now, you just show up at people's houses. Just, me, I pass you, I see you, I see me, I go heal you. And the next thing you know, they're there for 2 hours, you serve them dinner, and this is life, right? Like, and it wasn't you in my business. It's in so many ways. You might even get cussed. Frau, when, come over here. Like, it's been a week. Blah, 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 blah. And in those people aren't even related per se. But there's a value system of I'm going to check up on my friend. Right. And I think sometimes
you run in the street because you know the neighbor down the street.
but it's also, I think we make meeting up and liming and all these stuff a chore because it has to be perfect, and I have to have the goat, the chicken, the fish, and the vegetarian food. I have to have the juice, the water, the soda, and I have to have the house clean. I have to have, and it's just like, yo, just go hail your friend. Just go whatever. And I think if we went back to the simplicity of the fact that we have car, we have bus, we have train, we have whatever, just pull up on a friend because you can. Maybe that would make it different. And I think it bothers me because I am the person, like lately the Lord has been, you should call so-and-so. You should call so-and-so. And I just be calling random people, right? And whatever. And I'll leave them random messages. I don't know why I'm calling you. I just hope all's well, whatever. The last couple of weeks, I've called some very interesting people, and I've learned so, like, they just wanted to talk. But I see them looking like they're in community. I'm definitely not in your community. But you were just looking for someone to talk to, and it makes me wonder, like, then why is this so difficult? Why is this so difficult? Because you don't know what I'm going to do with the information, which in most cases I'm doing nothing with it, because guess what? It's not, I tell people your personal business ain't spicy enough for me to talk about it. But
because I think our priorities are just different.
It's not even priorities though, Kenrick, because
I think it is to some degree, but tell me more about why you think it not.
I think it's a level of selfishness that we don't want to admit. Because I now have to then make space for someone else.
Yeah, and that's why I was pointing out the society is individualistic and consumeristic, and that's the self. It's me.
It's not even that I'm necessarily a priority per se. It's just I have to make space.
No, I'm saying that's what I'm saying. Our priorities, right? I'm thinking about this, and this, right? And then,
but I think if people are being honest,
in the space that I have, that I'm not thinking about this, and I actually could do what you're calling me to do, I'll be like this.
But right? Henrik, I think most of us are denying the call to do it, because I can't, and it's hard for me to believe that one can go throughout the day and not think of someone else but themselves. And whether or not the thought pops up and you dismiss it, this still counts. But my phone may remind me of Kenrick. My child's shorts may remind me of a shorts I saw Sam wear, and then it remind me of Jared. Or these. I think it's a natural nature for you to have these memories that are connected to people, but you then deny yourself that. It's hard for me to believe that people say I don't think about anybody else. Like, how do you exist?
Some people kind of are really self-absorbed. Not a lot of people, but there's a lot of that in the world, and a lot of people their thoughts of other people is in connection to benefit to them. So they ain't really thinking about other people. They're really thinking about themselves, and these people further those thoughts.
And I don't think we're talking about those people. In my opinion, right now, I'm not talking about those people. We're talking about the people who claim to want to be in community, because I believe
I'm trying to. So I'm thinking of. Who today did I think of?
I thought of a few people
outside
today.
I
thought of a few people today, and I was like, I need to call so and so. I need to call so and so. And I just, in the moment when I was thought about them, I was doing something else, and I couldn't do it right then. And so, yeah. But I do think.
I thought about my, the two girls, Jewel. Thought about parents, work, a couple things people had to do with that. Like, I'm just trying to think of and then I thought about Jared after Jewel was like, "It's Friday."
I thought about
shoot, it is Friday.
I thought about Dwight. I thought about Daryl. I thought about Chevron. I thought about Terrence today.
I challenge you, Jared. When that happens, open a note on your phone and just write their name down. And see whether or not the Lord reminds you to do something about it.
I could do that.
It's a good exercise.
I could do that.
I think that would be a great exercise for you to do, Jared.
I agree. I agree. I open the invitation for others to join me.
Because I feel like I do that.
Like, the invitation.
I mean, if you're digital, if you're listening to us, if you're a digital person, put it on your phone. If you're a paper person, put it in a notebook that you carry around. Just put it there. And I feel like if your heart is open to hearing from God, it's going to bother. Like, it's, at least studies show when you write something or you digitally record something, it's more in your memory and you're more likely to go back to it and check off this task in some way, shape, or form. And not that people are tasked, but you've made a task for yourself.
Something to that you thought was important to take care of.
Exactly.
I receive it.
And I just wonder if those little things would help us lessen the amount of people who feel lonely. Because when we talk about, like, when Egg White talks about like stars on your crown and all the other people, right? I think we're thinking like, how many people I baptized, rah, 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 rah. That's all cute. But could it just be the person I texted? Could it just be the ear? I was listening to a young lady, and I won't give much information because I don't want to narrow down who she is. I don't talk to her often. I see her online, and in my opinion, we all give our best selves online. God said to me, you should hit up so-and-so. Why? Was my first time. Why? Like, all right. So I hit them up. They weren't available. We played phone tag for 3 days. They ended up calling me at 11 o'clock at night. I said, yo, nothing good happened after 10, right? So I'm not sure what's going on at 11. Anyway, funny enough, my do not disturb comes on my phone at 11, but my computer happened to be in my bathroom, my personal bathroom. My computer's never upstairs. So when they FaceTime called me, the computer went off.
Oh, dang, the FaceTime call was crazy.
Right?
That's nah.
We sat on the phone till my boss woke up. And I had to decide, do I tell you I gotta go because my boss is up and I need to put my boss back to sleep? Or I just rock this out? And I made the decision to go get my boss and let my boss join the conversation. Boss is bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. I don't know what the boss gonna do after this, but here we are. And that person needed to get so much off their chest. And I listened to them for over an hour and didn't rush them, nothing like that. And then they had to go. You know, the boss went back to sleep on the boss own.
Boss was like, keep me company.
You know, and so will I give that to God and say, yeah, he was just like, all right, let me see what you're going to do with this. I'll take care of the boss in the next couple minutes. Didn't fall asleep on the phone, but as soon as I got off and turned the lights off, the boss went to sleep.
Attention.
Because I just followed what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's facts.
So.
Yeah. All right. So, Sirika, what are you going home with today? What's the takeaway?
A list of names.
There was Kima, Keisha, Linda, Alicia, Dawn,
about
LaShawn.
3 Kims.
And Tina.
Definitely need to continue 2 things. Definitely need to continue to let go of my I do have some remnants of transactional thoughts and behavior. I can dismiss them often, but I want to work on not even having them. Right. And the second thing of just, as someone who used to live on an island but now resides on a peninsula, and I reserve the right to raise my bridge whenever I feel like it.
I remember when you used to say that. You moved off the island and onto the peninsula. You're still over there in the peninsula 12 years later.
Still on the peninsula.
Down at the bottom of the peninsula.
She ain't even moved closer than land. She's still on the peninsula.
On the tip of the peninsula.
But she's connected.
And I reserve the right to raise my bridge whenever I see fit.
Oh, it's only a peninsula because there's a bridge.
That's the only reason, because I need.
It can be an island.
I can be an island if necessary. Okay.
Because it's a bridge-connected island, we're calling it a peninsula.
Call it what you want. Some of y'all drive over. Some of y'all don't. It is what it is. I reserve the right. But as somebody who lives over there, remind myself of what it took to get me to build the bridge and try to be a construction worker for someone else.
Okay.
I feel like that's been my new thing, and this part of this conversation has reminded me that I'm still on that new task.
I got you. How about you, Kendrick? What's your takeaway?
I'm always amazed at how a verse that means like didn't really have any value starting at 8 o'clock to me. I'm sure it had value, but I'm saying like I never pay attention to. And you read this chapter and there's so many different things that it points out that so I love it because I just think about it all night, all weekend. I talk to the girls about it, or I'll talk to Jewel about it. The responsibility that you have within your community is important. He was pleading on behalf of the community. We are not being treated fairly here. Whether it was rational, irrational, whatever it was. So I think there's a lot of things that stood out. That's one of the things that stood out, was that he was still pleading on behalf of all the people, not just for himself.
Word. I'm going to go in a slightly different direction. I know I used the term playlist today, but the idea that the Psalms is a collection of songs that made it, however, by the divinely inspired way, into the experiences that help us understand the character of God. The fact that this song made the playlist had significance to me. That it was allowed, it made the cut of the 150 songs in the list.
It's a long album.
It is a long album. And the fact that I have to now reframe my perspective of scripture to say we include in songs as part of the scripture changes the way that you listen to the song, read the scripture, and understand its value. The intentionality of capturing people's emotions, experiences, perspectives, distortions in that moment in time to help understand God is a powerful shift in paradigm for me, because I never saw it like that before.
Yeah.
And that the idea that my relationship with God has space, even for my cognitive distortions, to be expressed. Not validated, but expressed. Is significant to me. And so that's what I am taking away, that this is truly a relationship individual and then collective, because that's the other piece, right? That's because he's having this conversation about us and we, and it's a collective relationship and the individual relationship is both, and that dynamic is interesting. It's an interesting interplay.
It's all, I know we got to go. It's also interesting, as you were saying, that because it's the Bible and it's the inspired word, there's not a lot of creative licenses that's given, right?
Mhm.
And so your point actually is very interesting, because you do have this situation to where this person took some creative license to say something, whether it was distorted or not, right? But it was definitely their experience, and they took that. It's very interesting, because I don't know how many times we, I don't know how often on this Christian journey, as we're reading and studying the Word, that we see people taking that in Scripture.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Change the whole idea of Scripture and what Scripture does and what it's for. And, if I believe that God had a hand in the canonizing of this, that he opted for us to make sure I have a playlist in there of experiences and songs. You think about what a playlist is. It's capturing moods and feelings, and people be saying all kinds of things in songs.
Yes. They talk about yards and milkshakes.
Color me bad on your playlist. What are you saying?
So much so that there's now a law that you can't use it against him in court.
Hey.
Yo.
Hey. All right. Mezzo says, I'm seeing same God, different time. I have so much to understand. I need to remain open to growing. All right. And I see Mike, God created community for individuals that all need saving. Yeah. That whole persons and people dynamic, it's an interesting dynamic. The covenant is with the people, but he deals with the persons. And you could be dropped out of the people person. You could lose your place in the person. And I think the more we remember that the covenant is with us, not me, I think that in itself changes the way we value, think about, and interact with one another. So thank you for that, Mike. All right. 10:04. Bishop, I'm going to have you pray for us tonight.
Wow, choice is not even given here anymore.
Tonight I'm making a selection. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Craziness. All right, let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for another opportunity to just gather and discuss your word. Thank you for all the families that are here in spirit, virtually, on camera, in our chat, in our WhatsApp. Be with everyone. Help that they may continue to not just read your word, but apply it within their lives. And let us all remember that life is to be enjoyed and that we should enjoy it in you. Keep us safe. Help that we may have a great weekend. And most importantly, help that others may see you and us and just inquire a little bit more about who you might be. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen, amen. All right. We here every first and third Friday. The next time we are here or should be here, God willing, is Good Friday, Friday the 3rd of April.
April, jeez.
Yes, April already. Can you believe it? We're already into the almost into the 4th month of the year. We don't have a long weekend in between us in terms of a 5th weekend that keeps us away from one another. So every other week, first and third. If you don't have a copy of the reading plan, you can download the app. If you have an iPhone, I don't think you can download it anymore if you have Android, but the PDF is still online, up online. So you can download that if you don't. Read with us, come study with us, bring your insights, bring your questions, bring your observations, bring your wrestlings, we'll process it. And if you happen to want to join us on one of the little squares, hit us up, Facebook, Instagram. Well, I have to check that Instagram. I haven't checked it in a while. I'll be honest, I haven't checked Instagram in a while. But you can hit us up Facebook, or you can hit me up personally. Facebook, email info@waterforthethirsty.com. Happy to include you and have you be a part of our conversation from the comfort of your home. You don't even have to dress up. See, PG was in his pajamas today. Come as
crazy.
Low feet and all, friends.
A lot of chess. A lot of chess.
We take you as you are.
Until the next time, people, it was nice. Drink up.
He better not be listening to this either.
He should.
Drink up, guys.